Yeah. Alright. So this is the long-awaited fucking video that I'm sure you're all going, he's going to reveal shit that everybody probably knows or doesn't know. Wearing my AC/DC cutoff, showing my fat man boobs. Of the fucking, you know, the dad bod. Because I'm fat. But you guys already know this. So, oh, fucking beard's looking meat today. Oh, well, sort of. The gray's out of control, but that's whatever. I'm fucking leaving that. So you guys are probably sitting there going, okay, dum-dum, get to the fucking point. Well, I'm getting there, so hold your tits. Today's video is all about my journey through music. Literally from my fucking infant days. You know, all that shit. So, fun fact, my birthday is October 28th in 1981. If you're a hardcore metal fan, without a doubt, you know that that is the day, the very first time that Metallica got together and jammed. Now, that being said, fucking, does that make me some sort of special guy? No, fucking, whatever. I happened to see that in an interview with Lars. I was like, oh, well, it's fucking rad. So I'm literally as old as Metallica, the band, not individual members. So I grew up in a house where there was always music playing at some point. The radio was on. My dad had he owned a guitar. I believe it's a 72 or a 73 Fender 12-string, which I will grab it here very carefully without dropping it, smashing it, or breaking it. Do anything. Now, the thing with this is, it's a 12-string, and it's left-handed. Okay? So this... No, I'm not playing it, because I'm not fucking embarrassing myself. So it is a Fender, obviously. So this was played at the house a lot. Like, an almost unhealthy amount, which, okay, cool. I'm just putting this back in case you were wondering what the fuck I'm doing. So, the thing is, because it was played a lot, there was a lot more country and 70s pop, and some 60s pop, of course, too. 60s rock and roll. So that's been basically my fucking entire thing. So to kind of get into an in-depth sort of thing here, I'm just going to pull out some of the shit that I've had in the house. I recently grabbed these records from when Mom sold the house. And I'm just going to grab a couple to show, just to kind of show you where things were musically. Oh, excuse me. So some of the staples that were played in the house a lot. And this is country, not that bullshit that you guys hear on the fucking radio today. Every time I fucking see a video, all I want to do is I want to grab these guys and I'm going to punch them in the fucking face. It's like, look at me, man. I'm so buff, man. I'm going to talk about my truck. And it's like, dude, you're probably driving a Hyundai. Go fuck yourself. Like, okay. This guy here, Don Williams, this guy was a massive, massive influence on my dad. I mean, shit, my dad had these big-ass fucking sideburns. I think because he was trying to rip off Don. When he sang, he sounded a lot like him. On the back, you can see that there are some X's beside the song titles. That, I believe, is the songs that Dad actually learned and how to play. He really focused really hard. And I'm pretty sure if I actually showed you a picture of Dad at that age, he probably looks like him. A classic. Fucking classic. I mean, it's fucking Kenny Rogers. I mean, who gives a... who doesn't know fucking Kenny, right? You know, the county... Or Coward of the County, fucking, you know, all that shit, fucking The Gambler, blah, blah, blah. Probably one of the baddest ass dudes on the planet. I mean, that dude, he had more drugs and fucking liquor in him than Johnny Cash did, I think, at one point. And probably, I'm going to put these actually back here before I get too out of control. Now, This here, I can assure you, was a staple in everybody's house. If it wasn't, you're lying. Or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I don't know how many guys and gals did not have this fucking record growing up in their house. Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, Christmas, fucking Hello. You know, Once Upon a Christmas. I think, like I said, I think everybody's had this fucking thing in their goddamn house. Every time I heard fucking the intro to With Bells On, it was just like, yeah, let's fucking go. As a kid, right? Because, you know, this was released in 1984. Fuck, I was 3, okay? Now, the one thing about all that stuff, so a lot of that sort of boom, chicka boom, chicka, you know, that sort of fucking boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, that whole fucking feel, that whole rhythm was embedded into my fucking head for I don't know how long. And that's that boom, chicka boom thing is that whole Johnny Cash, he would take, he would take a dollar or, a dollar bill or whatever it was, and he would wrap it around some of his strings. And as he fucking strummed, he would get that fucking up and that fucking up and down strumming pattern. And because the bill was taped around the strings, it had that sort of it basically mimicked sort of like the snare mimicked the snare drum with the brushes and not an actual stick. So the brushes and it's basically a drumstick, but instead of it actually being a full stick, it's like brushes and shit. For those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, fucking just Google it. Isn't that what the kids do these days? I use Siri because I'm a fucking idiot and I don't want to. I really don't want to put any extra effort into looking. Now, as I got older, and even around 3 or 4 years old, Michael Jackson was massive. Fucking massive. 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. That whole section, Michael Jackson was big. Thriller was big. That whole record was a big influence on what I knew and thought about music going forward. My mom says that there is a tape somewhere, and I think she's either bullshitting or the tape got retaped over or whatever, of me when I was very, very small in my dad's Chev Blazer, and I'm just fucking rocking out to Beat It and Thriller and all that shit. But there's not very many people that are my age or older or even slightly younger that didn't listen to Michael Jackson or didn't have some form of a love for Michael Jackson, okay? So, and everybody's probably watching this going, wait, when's he getting into the fucking metal? Well, that's fucking later on. But, moving forward slowly but surely, I really did have a lot of that, there was a lot of the country and so on. And, with all of that, country really took up a lot of my time, okay? Country really, really took up a lot of my time. But I'm going to show a couple other things here that, some of you guys probably be like, I didn't think they still had those. So what it is, when I was growing, I found this cassette tape. And Dad said, I said, what's this? And he's like, well, it's just a tape of songs that I have on this cassette, because he had a friend of his make it for him. Now, it wasn't this cassette, obviously, because it was a mix. But the Rolling Stones, okay? The very first rock and roll song I ever heard was Start Me Up. And it was on this cassette. And then, of course, there was, Can't Get No Satisfaction, The Hollies, Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress, House of the Rising Sun was on there. So many old classics. I think Golden Earring was on there, Radar Love. What else? And you guys got to remember, normally I have notes Like normally I have like a bunch of shit written down, but I don't. I'm literally going from memory. So anyways, with all of that and the Stones, obviously these guys are the first bit of rock and roll I heard. And moving forward, I went over to a friend of mine's house, and we were about, when was this out? So it was about 1987, and rock had been all the rage, and the one band that he said, listen, you need to listen to this. I'm tired of you listening to this country stuff. I don't like it. I don't want to hear it. Whatever. And he put on his brother's copy of this. Okay? This. This, without a doubt, is my awakening of harder edge guitars, harder edge drumming, a tightness musically that has never been... There's no better band than these guys. And everybody can sit there and go, oh, well, fucking Bruce Carcass and you know, Cannibal is, and fucking Slayer is, and fuck off. Okay? I can fucking assure you, okay, these guys had a bigger influence on Metallica than a lot of people think. Because it was this record that introduced me to what a fucking band can sound like on a record. And Brian's voice was like, wait a minute, wait. Fucking wait. Because I've already heard, like I said, I've already heard these guys. And these guys are just basically an amped up version of these dudes. So I'm thinking to myself, wait. There's a guy that does that? But then I got thrown for a fucking loop, you see. Because if you look at the back of this thing, again, for some of you kids who completely are unaware of what these are, this is a cassette. And this is actually one of the ones that's actually in really good condition. So I'm going to go here. And there's this song at the end of side 1 called Ride On. That was done by Bon Scott. So I'm listening. I'm like, wait, who the fuck is this guy? So I never thought anything of it. And of course, as you do, because, you know, when you listen to AC/DC, you go back and listen to all the records if you're getting into them right. So I went back, and the first thing I listened to was Highway to Hell. I'm like, okay, this is still good, but the vocals are weird, but I'm okay with it. So it took me a while to get used to that, and... you know, it sort of changed my mind on perspective. So basically with Bon, that was really more so the whole this, but a bit more of a scream to it from Bon Scott. Now, we move forward. And the next band that really sort of took a hold of me, and I don't have any vinyl of theirs. Oh, yes I do, sorry. Idiot. The fucking vinyl I literally sat there and gushed about. So the next thing I heard was this. And this was in 1989, 1990, I think? Yeah. And it wasn't this record, but the song I heard was side 2, Trapped Under Ice. And when I heard that, I thought to myself, what the fuck is this? I'm like, how is this bullshit even possible? Like, how are these guys playing this fast? So I never thought really anything of it. And of course, that was the first thing I heard of by Metallica. And I was just like, oh my God, this is fucking amazing. And most guys were probably going, oh, here we go. This is where he's into the thrash. And nope. The next thing I was into, and this was 1991. So a couple years later, getting into going into fucking, getting around the end of my elementary school days. So I was 10 years old when this came out, but I had also heard Metallica's, the Black Album. So I was like, okay, well, this is cool. I'm like, well, is that the same guys that did that other song I heard? And they're like, yeah, this is basically it. So then, as I'm just about to graduate elementary school, primary for some of you guys, I heard this record. Spin Doctors. Pocket Full of Kryptonite. I bought that bitch for $4 if you can imagine that shit. This is in absolutely immaculate condition. And I recently bought this too, so if you look at how fucking pristine it is, it's like there's literally nothing wrong with it. You can still read all the fucking writing and shit. J card is still like it's like I can literally just sit there and fold it back up without even thinking about it, really. So this record here was a pop classic, and a lot of guys are probably going, well, when are you getting to the metal? Well, I'm fucking getting there. Hold your tits. I listened to this for at least, mostly this and AC/DC. Mostly these two. And I also listened to Razor's Edge, which I have, and I'm not digging for it because, fuck, what do I want to do that for? So I listened to that, and I had I bought a copy of the Black Album. So I had a lot of AC/DC, Spin Doctors. I had that Black Album, and like a lot of it leading up to my high school days. So for the most part, the mid to late 80s and into the fucking mid to late 90s, AC/DC Metallica basically took over my life. The Spin Doctors I sort of grew out of afterwards, as you do with some bands. I mean, I've obviously come back to them because, I mean, I bought the cassette. Oh, excuse me. And getting into 1999, towards the end of the year, I had started moving into kind of in and around grade 10, end of grade 10, early part of grade 11 is when Oasis took over. So I was a big fan of those guys too. So it was like AC/DC, Metallica, and Oasis, sort of all wrapped into one. And I kind of was like, I kind of want to have something different. And I wasn't sure what I wanted, and I'm like, I need something different, and blah, blah, fucking blah. And I met a couple of guys who were looking for a singer, and I'm like, fuck, it can't be that hard, really. So I got into a band where we were playing a lot of stuff like this. Black Sabbath. And I'd never heard Black Sabbath up until this point. And I have the vinyl of this too, and it's one of my favorite. I actually have it on vinyl, cassette, and CD. I'm not digging for the CD because fuck that. I mean, and like I said, I have the CD. I don't know what the fuck I do with it, but whatever. They became a major influence on me. Fucking almost instantly. Paranoid, Sabotage, you know, Master of Reality Volume 4, fucking the debut record, which I was like, oh my god, what is this? And then, of course, Ozzy solo stuff, too. Like, you know, now this is just the Randy Rhoads tribute, which I absolutely love. Picked this up for a fucking song. And the thing I like about this is that it's got some of my favorite versions of, like, I Don't Know, Crazy Train, Believer. Flying High Again on this was awesome. Steal Away the Night was cool. Suicide Solution's great. But probably my favorite is the D, which is Randy Rhoads' studio outtakes version. That was a solo, or just a little fucking instrumental piece that he wrote and put on Diary of a Madman. No. Is it Diary of a Madman? No. Blizzard of Oz. Yeah, Blizzard of Oz. Sorry. And then, of course, I started digging into the older Metallica. Because at that point, it was mostly like the Black Album and Ride the Lightning. But, of course, then I got into Master Puppets. And I got into Kill 'Em All. And then I was like, okay. And then, pretty much after that is where everything took a fucking turn. So that's when the real extreme shit started coming into play. Do I have the CD here? I'm trying to, because basically what happened was I put a bunch of my discs here around here somewhere. Okay, I think it's here. So as we're moving into different years, different sections of my life in the 2000s and so on, like early 2000s, I really kind of got into these guys. Fear Factory. Cyber death metal, as they've been called, or industrial metal. Really heavily focused on, you know, just industrial noises and clanging and banging and all that fucking shit. But over time, I still kept like AC/DC. I kept Queen. I was, you know, getting into Queen a lot. And then, so because I stuck to those bands at an early age, I really kept them in and coming in and out. And then it was around 2004. I was in the process of, and I had heard Pantera too. I had heard Pantera like 2002, 2003. And at that time, I was like, okay, I need something that's going to, I need to hear something that's just going to fucking punch me right in the face and not let go. And I was in the process of awaiting to see if any big shows are going to come around. And the show, and what ended up coming through was this. Damage Plan had Dimebag Darrell and Vinnie Paul of Pantera. And I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. But on the poster that I saw at West 49 in McAllister Mall in St. John were these guys. This is where 90% of my problems stem from. Slayer. And of course I have the cassette tape here for Hell Awaits. Or not Hell Awaits, fucking South of Heaven. Jesus, what is wrong with me today? And this is where everything, as a lot of people say, that's where everything went fucking downhill, he says. And I became absolutely obsessed. This is by far, this is my #1 Slayer record. There's no Slayer record out there that's going to top this. People are like, well, what do you mean? Where's Rain and Blood? Well, Rain and Blood's number 4, sorry. #2 is South of Heaven, and I actually hated South of Heaven for the longest time. And #3 would be fucking Seasons of the Abyss. There we go. This fucking brain would work today. It might be fucking dangerous. So 90% of what I've become in terms of a vocalist has been simply due to Pantera, Exodus, Slayer, Judas Priest. That's the other thing. Judas Priest was... they showed up around this time too. And it really didn't metal like for me to get into it, because because in the mid 2000s there was another band, a Canadian band. I've shown this before, and people really didn't know how to take it. But I mean, I'm kind of even a fan of these guys to a point. If people don't like that, people really like, wait, what? Okay. Because, you know, when you're in your fucking 20s, you got to impress the girls, right? I mean, I was lucky if I was able to impress my fucking self. Now, this is actually not my copy, but I digress. Of course, because I grew up in a house, and because I grew up in a house where there's been so much melody and stuff, for a little while after my dad passed in 2003, I kind of left metal for a brief moment in time or two. So I went back to my roots, and I went back to listen to, you know, AC/DC and the Rolling Stones and so on and so forth. But then, of course, you get back into the pop and stuff. This was also a big band, even just growing up. Like when I was a kid too, like a lot of melody that people get is from ABBA. I mean, just Jesus, go look at the fucking the Stockholm fucking Stockholm. No, the Gothenburg sound, which is the I think the Gotham. Yeah, this oh, excuse me, Swedish Mellow Death, basically, right here, ABBA, okay? Now, this is where things really take a turn for the crazy, because it was around 2008, 2009 is when I started to get, you know, more, of course, more into the thrash on a constant basis. 2010 was when I joined my first band. 2010? No. 2012. 2012 is when I joined my first band. So, of course, at that point, I had already been introduced to these guys. Already been introduced to these guys a long fucking time. Been cranking them a lot. These guys started to take a. These guys started to pop up a lot. There's another record that's hiding in here. I gotta get that out. And of course, with the advent of the, when the internet first came out and all that shit years ago, and you're able to download and stream and all that crap, that's sort of with, that's kind of where things really sort of, you were able to get access to a lot more. Those early 2000 days, of course, these guys also took a hold. And I know it seems like I'm kind of going back and forth, but there's just, I see a record, I'm kind of bouncing back and forth here, and I'm kind of getting myself all sorts of fucking confused. But moving into those 2012, 2013, all that sort of shit, like, that's when the sludge and the doom and the stoner started to kind of creep in. So I was in the process of going through every ounce of thing in my head when I finally got a chance to fucking ingest this kind of stuff, the New Orleans stoner sludge kind of shit. This is where things really started to take a hold, because I'm a big Phil Anselmo fan, and a lot of people don't like that because of Phil's past fucking yippy yappy bits of shit. And that's kind of like, it's kind of like this whole thing where fucking people are like, whoa, fucking Phil's a dick. Yeah, he might be, but whatever. And so leading into present day, because this motherfucker's 27 minutes, and now we're getting to the point where you guys are probably going, oh my God, Willie, just shut the fuck up, please, oh God. It was really about, Jesus. About 8 years ago is when I really started to get into the fucking extreme side of things. And I know it's taken me so long, but it's because I really didn't have any fucking buddies who were like, hey, fuckface, listen to this, and that. I didn't have my buddies who were fucking beating on my door. I did have one of my buddies who was trying to get me to listen to fucking black metal. I was like, okay, no, I can't do that shit. But this is kind of where I started getting into this shit here. Like, into this. Like, death metal. Because I had already been introduced to mellow death, which is like your In Flames and so on and so forth. And if I can get a hold of the fucking record. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to kind of fucking do this. So for half a minute or two, you can just chill with me. So this was around 2006. So again, I'm backpedaling. But because I was into this already, and not this record, it was actually Come Clarity, which was a couple before that. I'm basically using a bunch of I'm using a bunch of CDs here to kind of prop this up. Now, what really sort of took a hold was an album like this. Entomb Left Hand Path. When you guys hear the words chainsaw, buzzsaw, guitar tone, right there. No other record's going to outdo it. Some would say that Dismember had a big thing on that, which this was, yeah, so this is the Stockholm stuff. Sorry, because I mentioned the Gothenburg thing. Yeah, the Gothenburg thing was definitely the Mellow Death, which is In Flames. This here, and probably the other record that I will find, Because when I actually got a chance to own, this is where things really started to take off. This is At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul. That record is fucking to die for. So, overall, a lot of it's been old rock and roll. Obviously the country stuff. But some of the stuff that I listen to the most is obviously the thrash stuff, Exodus, Slayer, Creator, Sodom, all that kind of stuff. It really sort of, you know, getting into death metal death metal kind of put me on this sort of path of understanding, you know, the differences in the extreme side of things, right? And I tend to listen to a lot of it. Like, I'll listen to, some days I'll be listening, you know, I'll go on my phone while I have my headphones on the bus, coming home or going to work. I'll just hit shuffle. 1 minute there's going to be an ABBA tune. There's going to be a fucking AC/DC song. There's even fucking, you know, Dire Straits, fucking Black Sabbath. No Nickelback, though. None of that on my phone. And of course, you know, you'll even see, there's some death on there. There's definitely Entombed. But in a sense, I listen to different shit. Okay? And I know everybody's like, oh, he's all about the fucking metal and all about the fucking angry. It's not just that. There is other stuff that I do listen to. And although I am very glad that a lot of my buddies that I've been able to hang out with, when I sort of became, you know, a vocalist, and a lot of my buddies who have shown me what else is out there, it's been fun, you know, and it's been a great journey. And I know I've been fucking waffling on like a twat for like the last 30 minutes or so. But this is where I'm at. And if I start singing something out loud, or someone will be like, wait, you don't listen to that. Well, now you know. So there's been everything from country in my life to rock and roll to 90s alternative shit to, because I also like Alice in Chains and so on. But I also listen to thrash, and I listen to hard rock, and I listen to death metal. Can't listen to black metal, though. Jesus Christ, that shit's fucking difficult to listen to. I don't know how the fuck... I actually don't know how fucking people listen to that stuff. I mean, it's just fucking dreadful. I mean, look at my face. Like, does this look like a face that wants to listen to black metal? No. Not particularly. I mean, look at this face. People would say this is a face of misery. I mean, I did give up drinking about a year or so ago. That being said, I'm going to show you one more record, and then that's that. I actually have to find it now. What does that tell you? I'm completely unfucking prepared. Oh, yeah. Probably one of my favorite album covers I have in this whole fucking lot. German thrash. Sodom. Look at that shit. Fucking hateful. It's all about war. I know it's all blood, guts, and gore, and fucking chainsaws and tanks. But just remember, guys, even though I listen to fucking some pretty, even though I listen to some pretty fucking angry shit, I'm far from angry. I mean, I can get angry if you piss me off, but that's besides the point. It's just one of these things where, whoa. That was exciting fucking, wasn't it? I hope you're probably all pissing yourself laughing, you bloody bastards. Anyways, guys, for those who have watched this and fucking actually stuck around for this 30+ minute mess and my incoherent rambling and babbling and so on, thanks, guys. Feeling a lot better after my bout with, you know, fucking mental day on Monday. It was pretty bad. But I got some stuff written down. I've got some ideas for another song. I just have to fucking write it out, put it down. Thanks for sticking around, guys. If you're wondering what that little thing was, that was a hare. I just decided to travel in the distance. It's not a ghost. Thanks for putting up with my shit, guys. I mean that. Hopefully there's going to be more videos coming. You know, this was the main one I wanted to get out, so just so you guys think, like if I comment on something on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, you know, I listen to a lot of stuff. And frankly, when I have to put on a facade that I'm the metal guy or I'm a metal guy and people are like, oh, well, don't you listen to anything else? I do. Obviously, I definitely do. Like, I mean, you know, fucking, I'll put on ABBA's Waterloo and crank that shit right the fuck up. But, last but not least, I'm okay with the Beatles. I respect them, but I'm not a fan. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Click like if you want. Smash the subscribe button. I've already seen 2 people fucking subscribe. Tommy, thanks, brother. Davey Edmonds, also killer. I'm gonna shut up now. Probably, is he fucking done talking yet? Yeah? What a twat. Anyways, guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you out there.